because Sociology department is also here. So what are the interpersonal effects that are happening right at this point of time? So there is increased relational conflict, social withdrawal, impaired work performance, distrust, feeling abandoned, overprotectiveness. Now, I know all of you are students, but even then, I think it would be better if Sociology department is also here. So, what are the interpersonal effects that are happening right at this point of time? So there is increased relational conflict, right? Social withdrawal. You can now see some very weird changes. Recently a child came to me. He's 3.5 years old, and the child stopped speaking. 3.5 years old, and both his parents told me that he would always talk before this pandemic. Now, why the child stopped talking in this particular condition? And he came at, I think, 1.5 months after the lockdown. Now, both the parents are young professionals, and they are working from their home. So both of them are very busy. So what is happening? The child is also staying in the same house. The parents are staying. Previously, the child used to go to a kindergarten school. The parents used to go to their workplaces. But right now, whenever the child is becoming happy that both his parents are there, and he's coming to the parents to have a talk with the parents, what is the usual reaction? Shh, don't talk. We are very busy. And so what is happening? The parents are having meeting. So when they're having meeting, they're locking the child inside a room with lots of toys, with mobiles, with maybe laptops, everything together. They're thinking that we are doing the right thing. We are providing the child everything once. But there also, the child is feeling all alone, locked up in a room. So the catastrophic changes that has happened right now is giving rise to some of the situations which we never ever dreamt of. And because all of us, not only the child, the parents, in fact the teachers, the employers, the employees, all of us are part of this catastrophic changes, and we all are having anxiety. We do not know that how to cope with this situation. So this is one child who is not talking. Many children are coming who are around 12 to 14 years old, and there is somatization. Do you know what is somatization? Any one of you, do you know what is somatization? Can anyone say? I think there are psychology students. Can you unmute yourself and say what is somatization?
Somatization is a condition where there is no physical cause for a disorder, but they have psychological symptoms, or they complain of stomach ache or headache, but there are no medical evidences.
Very good, very good. So you are Jannavi?
Mahanta.
Like mental disorders.
Yeah. So Jannavi, thank you very much, and I think Obishar also told us something. So this child is having somatization. He is vomiting, and I'm not talking about one child. I have seen at least 4 to 5 children with similar issues. They are vomiting, and they are complaining about stomachache, and the doctors have even done endoscopy, and there is no physiological reason behind it. So, these are some of the issues that we can see right now, which you won't get in your psychology book also. Why? Why you won't get in your psychology book? Can you hear me? I think you can hear me. So, till now, we have never faced COVID. So this COVID-19 pandemic has changed our collective calculus of uncertainty, isn't it? Because there is no reference case for the COVID-19 crisis in living memory. So we do not know how other people would suffer, what typical psychological problems or social problems these children or people all over the world and in India will face. Though I think one thing is basically common. We are all in the same boat, isn't it? People who are from West Bengal, people who are from Bihar, people who are from Rajasthan. So we are all in the same boat, even people from outside India. Though we are all in the same boat, but COVID-19 is affecting us from different dimensions. So what are the different issues that we are facing? Like the anxiety of a school-going kid is different from that of a homemaker, isn't it? The trauma of a young professional is certainly different from the trauma of a palliative care patient whose treatment process has come to a standstill because of COVID-19. I think you are also facing similar such situations where people who are having any physical health issues, they're afraid to go to the hospital. So when people are afraid to go to a hospital, it is also affecting them mentally. It is affecting them psychologically. So in this particular situation, we would try to explore how different people are getting affected. But before that, because we are talking about coping strategy, I think you know that people tend to overestimate how badly they could get affected. Not only that, if any of you are having any pain in your life, if it is a mental pain, it would come to your mind very often. And if you think of your life, in your life, you would have positive experiences and you would also have negative experiences. But the painful negative experiences are intrusive thoughts and they would recur again and again and again. So this is something which we should be aware of, that we overestimate how badly we are affected. And again, we underestimate one thing. We underestimate how well we can cope with a particular situation, because all of us are having the capability to cope with different sorts of situations. Now, as I have already told you, that small children are getting affected. You can think that, okay, it is only small children because they don't understand everything. So they are having the fear, they can't go out, they can't play. Now there are children who are good students, but who are expressing that they want to quit their studies. Why? Because this online platform seems monotonous to many young students. Without the fun, without the fight, without the play, without all the mischiefs that they used to do in classroom, the education, the studies seems to be boring for them. So what happens to the teenagers? You know, teenage is a time when we have lots of stress factors, when there are so many changes in our life. And in this phase, when the teenagers are missing their friends, maybe the same-sex friends, maybe the opposite-sex friends. So they are having restlessness, aggression, and there is difficulty to concentrate. Now, what happens to young adults who have started their career? There is insecurity and anxiety. There's a negative thinking pattern. We are not sure how their career would flourish even after 1 year. So, even after we win over the COVID-19 virus, well, everything would be the same as before. So there are lots of conflict and confusion that is going on all around. If we talk about the economic impact, yes, you know about the economic impact. I think the students of Sociology department would be able to talk about it very well. But if we talk about the homemakers, they are not having the me time. Everyone is taking their decision. Everyone is asking them to do something because they are the only people in the home who they think, the family members are thinking that they are not having work. Also, there are careers in the life of adults also who are halfway in their career, in the mid-level career. They have the career crisis, they have nervous breakdown, insomnia, and of course, you know, the pressure and sugar are increasing each and every day. So what is happening to old people, the elderly people, especially the elderly people who are staying alone? The elderly people who are staying alone, they cannot see the face of any person for days together. And you know, we as Indian, we are very much accustomed to see the faces each and every day, to talk with others, to meet others. So there is a sea change in the life of everyone. There is a change in the life of daily laborers also. So I think you know about IQ, EQ, and AQ. What is the difference between IQ, EQ, and AQ? Can any one of you tell me? What is IQ, what is EQ, and AQ? Please, I want to hear from you. Yes, but I don't want to talk about right now is Q. I want to talk about IQ, EQ, and AQ. Can any one of you say, because you are the students of psychology, yes, emotional quotient, but can you explain something? What is intelligence quotient? Why we measure it? What is emotional quotient? And how it affects our life? And what is adversity quotient? And why it is important right now? Yes, any one of you. I know the answer is known to you because, yes.
If I may, sorry, to interrupt. So IQ stands to be as intelligent quotient, and people born with, you know, like IQ, higher IQ tend to be like natural geniuses. And when it comes to EQ, it's emotional quotient, and it means, sorry, that you are more of a sympathetic, like you can understand the emotions of other people better when it comes to like, feelings and stuff.
Can you be a little louder? And AQ, adversity quotient?
I'm afraid I don't know that one, ma'am.
Okay. So, can you tell me that when you know what is IQ, what is EQ, the potential of a person is determined by IQ or EQ? Any one of you? There are so many students. Any one of you? Don't hesitate.
It should be EQ.
It should be EQ. Why?
Because then if you have high EQ, you have the ability to cope with situations big situations of life. If you have just high IQ, probably even intelligent, you can study well, but life's problem situations might just pull you down and break you. So you should have high EQ.
Okay. Very good. So previously we used to think that it is only IQ. If a person is very intelligent, then he would do good in life. And then we understood that no, it is not only IQ. If he is not emotionally able to balance himself, his emotions, then he won't be able to focus on his studies, or he won't be able to balance his different emotions, and that would show his effect in his career. Now, when we are in one adverse situation, then we are able to identify that it is the adversity quotient also which determines how well we would cope with the situation. Because it is not only about COVID-19, but generally when you are leading your life, adversities and challenges are part of life, isn't it? So, how well you are actually dealing with the adversities of your life are important. Now, so when we are in this situation, what we need to do is to change our attitude. Like when we think about happiness, what we think that when we are going out, when we are meeting people, when we are having a cup of coffee together, when we are hanging out with friends, we are very happy. But right now, we need to rethink. We need to view life from a different window altogether, where we need to discover that what are the things in which we can be very happy, in which we can have the peace of mind. Now, when I received this invitation that I will have to talk with all of you, I was thinking that, I'm going towards Darjeeling, and it is a hilly area, and there would be tall trees. I was feeling cold. And then I suddenly realized that if I express, many people can think, okay, this is a delusion or this is hallucination. So do you think this is a delusion or hallucination? Do you know the difference between the two? The delusion and hallucination? Any one of you? Do you know the difference between the two?
Ma'am, hallucinations are false perceptions, whereas delusions are false beliefs.
Very good. Can you give an example of hallucination?
Ma'am, hallucination could be, for example, auditory hallucination. So there's nobody talking in front of me or close to me, but I hear voices.
Very good.
Delusion could be, say, delusion of persecution, where you feel paranoid that someone's following you, someone's plotting against you, or trying to kill you.
Very good, Janavi.
Thank you, ma'am.
You are a very good student. Now, right now, what is happening? Why I am talking about delusions and hallucinations? You might be thinking that we are discussing about COVID-19 issue, and why ma'am is talking about this? Because right now we see some of the cases where a perfectly normal individual, perfect till now, are having delusions and hallucinations also. So you know what happens in this particular case is that the restlessness increases and we all try to control the future and we all try to fix the problem, fix the challenge. So whenever we are trying hard to fix the challenge, we are not able to do right now because the people of the whole world is trying to do it. And when we are not in a position to fix the challenge, the anxieties are increasing. And because we know that, okay, this is the situation which every one of us are facing, what is happening? At that point of time, we are trying to avoid telling everyone or anyone the anxieties that we are facing, and this is having a pressure cooker effect, which is giving rise to these delusions and hallucinations. Even panic attacks. I think you know panic attacks also. Now, if we want to discuss the coping strategies, what are the coping strategies in this particular scenario? You must be knowing some of the coping strategies that people with mental illnesses are having when someone is suffering from anxiety, someone is suffering from depression, someone is suffering from OCD and other disorders. So what could be the coping strategies at this point of time? The first and foremost coping strategy that could be beneficial at this time is writing down all the positives that are happening in a person's life. Because right now, many positive things are also happening in our life, and we are not paying any attention to those things. Now, because in the beginning also I have said that every one of us are learners. So we need to accept the ignorance that we are ignorant about this particular situation and we must be a learner right now. And uncertainty is enjoyable. When we are watching a cricket match, when there is too much uncertainty, we actually enjoy the cricket match. So as a student of psychology, as a student of sociology, you need to propagate that uncertainty is not always something through which someone would become anxious. One can enjoy the uncertainty also. One can actually take note of each and everything that is happening right now, which could be a research material for tomorrow. And I would request all of you to meet more and more people. See what are the different cases that are happening right now. Take note of it and take note of everyday life situations that you are having. Those people who are coping well, what are the coping strategies that they are adapting? And that could be a good research year for everyone in the coming years. So at this point of time, we need to set short-term goals. No long-term goals would be effective. And we need to explore new things in life, like maybe whatever hobbies we used to do. So whenever we can explore those things. Now there are children, those of you who are doing, who are good student, but those of you who experiencing doing the one-to-two their studies, you are having any leisure time with you, you can also do some other online activities or cultivate your hobbies and transform yourself from flight mode to fight mode. Yes, today the adversity quotient is very important. Today we need to become flexible. We need to help others so that we can remain happy in life. So, as a student of psychology and sociology department, what you can do, you can try to create connection with people who are having acute anxiety at this point of time, or people who are having COVID. You need to connect with them. I'm not asking you to physically go there, but you can connect with them. And awareness, raise awareness about COVID-19, raise awareness about how to develop coping strategies, how to explore yourself in a better way, how to relax in this particular condition. The psychosocial effects are very important. So you all together, these two departments can create groups, online groups, where people who need your help can get the answers of all the queries or can get the support system that they need. Now, the psychological things that you can do right now is to support people who are stigmatized right now. As your principal rightly pointed out, that when a person is suffering from mental illness, at that point of time, the stigma is high. But again, because COVID-19 is a new illness and because we all know that it is infectious, what is happening? We are all afraid. We are all having stigma. Even after people is recovering, there are lots of stigma surrounding it. So what we need to do is to combat it. So you can create a group and you can give support to it. You can aware people that this is just an illness and this is a passing phase. And some economic support that is needed for the underprivileged people, that too you can provide if you can form a group and if you can collect some donations to help others. So we need to bounce back. We need to rediscover happiness at this point of time. But rediscovering happiness is not possible unless you all rediscover yourself. So today, I think your work should be take a pen and paper, write down your strengths, your weaknesses, and what you are or how you are discovering yourself right now. And we need to rediscover closeness also. Now, there are many positive points about COVID-19 also, because people are working from home. So there are families in which they are getting back their children who used to work in faraway places. Parents are developing some unique bonds with their children. So there are many positive things happening right now. I would like to end with a story. I don't know whether any one of you know the story. There was a hunter. One day he lost his way inside the forest. So he was moving around. And he had nothing to eat, nothing to drink, and he was feeling very hungry, very thirsty. So after 2 or 3 days, he discovered a tree full of apples. He was very excited that, okay, a tree full of apples. So he ate the first apple and he was very happy. Oh, it is such a sweet apple. And he was very happy. He was thanking God that God, thank you for making me discover this apple tree. So I won't die right now. I would eat the apple and I would be alive till I find out my way. So then he started eating the apples, and when he was having the 40th apple, he stopped telling God that, okay, God, you have given me something amazing. He was thinking, no, I'm searching for food. So, okay, after 3 days, I have got the tree full of apples. So, there is nothing to be very happy about it. This is very not normal. So, what happens is that we generally take all things for granted. Now, after COVID-19, we are able to realize what are the different things that actually were giving us happiness, which we can enjoy more. And we should be grateful each and every day for the life that we have and for all the experiences that we had previously and we have right now, because you are lucky enough to go through this phase where you would be able to add your own experience and probably add some input in the research about COVID-19. So, thank you. It was a pleasure to be with you. And of course, I would like someday to meet you all, to have one-to-one communication with all of you, to have an interactive session with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ishita Sanyal. It was a very enlightening session, and especially I would say this particular session was an eye-opener for all of us. Because when we talk about this mental health and mental issues, we look at the situation, we hardly talk openly about the situation. Because, when we talk about the psychiatrists, we talk about the psychology, people hardly talk in a very open manner. And we came to understand, I'll be taking a few minutes, I'll be summarizing your session. And basically, when we came to understand how this cognitive effect, physical effect, it has to do a lot of things with our life. And it is very important to balance things. Like ma'am, she talked about this IQ, EQ. These are very important for us. And one important thing which ma'am talked about is the positive outlook or the positive perspective towards looking at a certain things. Because everything has a positive and the negative side. But ma'am basically talked about the last one, basically how we can cope up with issues, how we can build up the strategies, which is very important. For example, ma'am, she mentioned about, we can write down all the positive happenings in the day-to-day life, because we hardly take time to reflect. At the end of the day, we are very busy with the phones, especially the youth, we are very busy with the phones, and we tend to get busy with other activities, but we hardly take time to reflect upon the positive things which are happening in our day-to-day life. And ma'am, she talked about that we can write down the positive things which are happening in day-to-day life, and we can jot it down. And obviously, it will, boost our energy. And another thing which I liked very much is that we enjoy the uncertainty, because we never know what is going to happen tomorrow. So why not enjoy the present moment? We can enjoy the uncertainties, and also that we can build up the new hobbies. Obviously, we all are in the same boat, but what we can see here, especially in this pandemic, that this COVID-19 is affecting people in a different manner, in a different age group. all the people not have the same kind of effects, but some are being some are suffering from this panic attack, some are suffering from all kind of the mental issues. But if we can build up the good habits like writing down the positive things which happens in our day-to-day life, we can cultivate the habit of building the good hobbies. This can help us in a better way. And one thing which man mentioned about and which is very positive is that we can always promote the positive outlook. We can always promote the positive perspective towards certain things, and instead of agonizing over something, we can always utilize that particular thing, or we can always utilize our time and hobby in a better manner. And we would obviously Pam suggested, and we can talk about the certain issues, and we'll be focusing, and we'll be seeing these things come off very positive. We'll have a positive output, or we'll have a positive outlook for this certain things. Thank you, Ma'am Ishita Sanyal, for your interactive session. Now, I'd like to hand over the session to Mr. Samesh Tilchuri. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. I'd like to thank once again. Now,
Okay, I would like to thank ma'am once again. And now I would like to open for queries. If you have any queries with Ma'am Ishita, you can ask. So participants, you can unmute yourself only if you have queries, and then ma'am will be answering your questions. I haven't seen. Okay, ma'am, Adarsh Rumba is asking, Mr. Foucault in his first book, Madness, Civilization, pointed out that as a result of our human advancement, we did excel in field of medicine, but however, we to stigmatize mental illness. Although they were treated in a more human way, however, they are isolated and treated against their will. Whereas in Renaissance period, the mentally ill were only treated as different. What would be your take in this?
As we are advancing, we are trying to explore each and every situation and treat people with mental illness differently. So, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Sameep?
yes, we can hear you. We can hear you.
So, I think you all must be knowing, actually, a few days ago, I saw in my mobile the history of psychology was given through cartoon. So it was very interesting how they have made cartoons out of how it was done previously, how after Renaissance period the things are changing. But even after Renaissance period, the things, though we will say that the things are changing, I think lots of changes are yet to come. If you are a student of psychology, I think, or if you are a student of sociology, I think the onus of changing the situation lies on you also. because we run one organization and we started it almost 23 years ago. So when we started this organization, before starting it, I visited all the mental health centers that were there at that point of time in Kolkata. And I found that the only treatment options that were available at that point of time was locking people with mental illness inside a room and providing a television. So giving a medicine where the people are having the side effects, where people are feeling drowsy, where the people can't work so much like before, is right now also not the right way of thinking. Instead of thinking and accepting that I am suffering from so and so illness, I think the focus of treatment should be completely different, where we would focus on what could be the treatment opportunities, development opportunities available for a person who is suffering from an illness. Like if I am suffering from blood pressure, of course I will have to take medicines, but I need to know whether I can continue with my normal day-to-day life, my normal day-to-day work. So also, in this period, we must focus on our attention on the development of people who once upon a time or who are suffering from mental illness and how they can continue with their day-to-day life. So I would rather say lots and lots of changes are yet to come.
From Father George, he says a very comprehensive approach to the question is like if we declare to ourselves that COVID-19 is something like a fever, flu, viral fever, typhoid, but we recover unless we are already chronically ill or a non-Algerian. Though we have not a non-Algerian who recovered too, would there be stigma attached to the illness? Could positive self-talk, in other words, help prevent stigma? So this is the question, ma'am.
Like what is happening in Kolkata, because I'm not aware about what is happening throughout India right now. I can tell you what is happening in Kolkata. Yes, the stigma is very high. And I would answer your second part of your question later on, but I want to give an example. So when I think 1 month after COVID-19 started, I went to the bank and there was an apartment close to it, but I would rather say very far from the bank. But we were maintaining social distancing and standing in a queue. But people from the apartment were saying, no, you cannot actually use the road because the road is in front of our house. So people are getting panicked sometimes because of it. And I have seen at that point of time that there were some people in each and every area who would behave as a leader of that particular region, and they would try to actually increase the panic situation. Now, when we are talking about positive thinking, I think that positive thinking is immensely useful for a person who is recovering also, because when anyone is suffering from any disease, not only COVID-19, if we think that, okay, we cannot recover, our body won't fight also. So I think positive thinking is needed in case of COVID-19, in case of any disease. If a person with COVID-19 is suffering for a longer period of time, maybe because of other complications, but even then, of course, we would have to take some protection. If we see a COVID-19 patient, if a person is suffering from COVID-19, we are not going to that person and embracing that person. So that part is okay. Till a certain period, like 17 or 18 days, as they have said, ICMR have said that is needed so that you don't get infected. That is all right. But when a person has recovered, at that point of time also, sometimes we are trying to maintain a distance because within ourselves we have developed an anxiety. So we need to learn about it from a source of information which you can rely. Because right now what is happening is that through social media, through other sources, we are getting lots of news, lots of informations, many of which are not the right information. So we need to get the right information and write down all the positive things that are happening. And before I end, I must, if any one of you help, I have a video of a frontline worker, DIG. DIG, who is, as you know, working as a police officer, so they are the frontline workers. The DIG was admitted, he is working very close to Jalpaiguri, Kollam Mukhopadhyay. So he was admitted because he was suffering from COVID-19. And each day in the hospital, he painted a new beautiful picture. He talked with many of his followers in the Facebook, and he expressed all that he was facing at that point of time. And he said that there is nothing to be panicked about. So we have to think positively. If we don't think positive, recovery is not possible. Thank you.
Thank you. We are running short of time, and then we are getting numerous questions in our chat box, and we are also getting good compliments, ma'am. Now I would like to request Brother Jose, our Vice Principal, to kindly give his observations on the session. Brother VP, over to you now.
Yeah, thank you, Sir Samir. I think we had a very engrossing afternoon. Thank you, Ms Sanyal, for your exposition on this very important topic aspect of mental health. One issue is the stigma that we attach to mental health. That if someone gets a cancer or a heart attack, we go and visiting, her, and then we get. But if someone is having a depression or mental sicknesses, we are, very don't make this kind. So the stigma is very much there, and we need to, overcome this. And talking about some statistics, the ideal ratio of a mental health professional to 8,000 people should have one mental health worker per 8,000 people. That's the ideal ratio. But in India, I'm told that I read somewhere that we have been 0.5%, per 1 lakh population in India. So what is the ideal and where we are? So mental health is a very, very big issue that we take very seriously. And for the students of psychology, this is a very, very promising field of work as well, that you learn well and the job is waiting for you. Okay, that's one thing. Second thing is, in our college, we had some time back done a longitudinal study on the effect of lockdown on the mental and social aspect of life. And we found that whopping 80% of the participants, they said life has become boring. 85% felt upset about the fact that they are not able to meet their friends. So indirectly, the mental effect it's having on students and faculty is very, very obvious. There are some fears, as you said, ma'am, that are connected to this lockdown. Then one is fear of uncertainty as to what is happening, what's going to happen tomorrow. Then there is the fear of contracting the virus. Then the effect of working from home. Then the fear of unemployment. Then the aspect of homeschooling of children, how it's affecting us sometimes negatively. The lack of physical contact with family, friends. So all this is having its impact on all of us. So and you have explained very well how we need to cope and how we can cope, and how the adversity question needs to be cultivated more to face this situation. I may add also to this that another question is a spiritual question that can also come in handy to help us with this situation. There are some coping strategies, just to complement what you already said, that are there, that we can use for our own coping mechanism. One is, as you said, to tell positive things about oneself, how things can be improved. Right now, in my home, my sister, husband, 3 children are tested positive for COVID. But they are quite happy. They are not sitting and crying or worrying. They are watching TV. They are eating good food. Having ice creams, and so being positive, I think, is very, very important. Second thing, I think, would be keeping a journal. Things keep mental health. You have to keep writing good things that happen to you, and then it will help you to stay positive. Then I think would be living in the present, not thinking about the future or the past and feeling sorry about it, crying about it, but just live in the present and live one day at a time. Exercise, very, very important, especially for young people. Exercising is very, very important to remain mentally fit. And then being open to someone. If you have mental issues, problems, you have to tell someone. Be keeping quiet about it, or not hush, that is not going to solve it, help you. You have to tell at least one person you trust. You have to open up. That is the best way that you can get help. Another thing would be being altruistic, doing things for other people, doing helping other people. There's another way that will help you to stay mentally healthy and happy. Then taking breaks, doing things that you like to do. Not only doing things that you're forced to do, but also doing things that you like to do will also help you to remain happy. Then having a regular timetable, sleep time, wake up time, having meals on time. This also can help us to remain healthy mentally. Overall, it was a very wonderful session. Thank you, Ma'am Sanyal, for this exposition, and for the Department of Sociology, Psychology, who organized this, to Sandeep sir and all his colleagues, and all the participants. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brother Vice Principal. Now I would like to request Father CM to speak something on this webinar. Over to you, Father.
Hi, Ma'am Sanyal. It was nice. I enjoyed your presentation. I'm coming from the background of media, journalism and mass communication, and I must tell you that as a community radio, we are running a community radio in college, and one of our campaigns is to help people of our locality. It is Nepali language. Most of our programs are Nepali language, and we are also tied up with Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation for creating awareness and also helping people to cope with this traumatic experience of COVID-19. A lot of fear among the people, it's almost like a phobia, people are getting damn scared of things. And mentioning in that housing complex, people are they were very afraid that people are using their road, etc., etc. Here also, the people allow outsiders to go into their village, they block the traffic, block the road and things like that. So we are creating a sort of awareness how to cope with the situation and how to deal with the patients and how to prevent it and how to keep themselves occupied as people connected with each other. That is what we are trying to do as a community radio. I think we have to involve media people also into this in a bigger way to spread this awareness that mental health is something very crucial issue and it is not something to be stigmatized. So I think your talk was a great help, and I must congratulate the Sociology Department and Psychology Department for organizing and opening up this webinar for all of us. Thank you.
Now I would like to request Ms. Namu to kindly present the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Samir sir. Am I audible? I deem it a great
Yes,
honor
ma'am.
to I deem it a great honor to propose the vote of thanks on this memorable occasion. Let me first of all start by giving glory to Almighty God for making today's occasion a resounding success. First and foremost, I thank Reverend Father Principal Dr. George Taradil, Chairman IQAC and Chief Patron for his support, vision and commitment. His words of encouragement, his able guidance has always encouraged us. We are grateful to our rector and patron, Reverend Father Dr. Tommy Augustine, for his hospitality, kindness, and continued support. I thank our Vice Principal and Chief Coordinator, Brother Jose, for his valuable contribution and guidance. I also thank our IQAC Coordinator, Dr. Terence Mukhya, for his unstinted support for the function. My heartfelt thanks to our speaker, Ms Ishita Sanyal. Ma'am, we are grateful for the time and effort you took to share your thoughts and experience. It was indeed informative and helpful. Thank you so much for your enlightening session. I would also like to thank the entire team, our HOD and convener, Mr. Sameep Century, members, Ms. Sumina Chetri, Ms. Sophia Rai, and the technical support team, Mr. Nikhil Pradhan, Ms. Priyadarshini Pradhan, for making it a successful event. And lastly, heartfelt thanks to all the faculty members and participants for being a part of this event. Thank you. Over to you, Sameep sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, last note, participants. I have already sent the feedback links. We have. I have already done that, and then I will also start sending the certificates to respective email IDs from tomorrow onwards. Now, ma'am, for being with us, and I also thank all the participants. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.